So today I decided to talk a little about Barbarian, the movie that was made in 2023, kind of horror and thriller, and I think mystery, a thriller, a horror, a mystery. I heard from this movie from different sources. Like I learned about it for the first time from some YouTube trailers of the new movies of 2023. Then I don't remember the movie, but I watched the interview for this movie, and the actors said that they were inspired by this Barbarian horror movie. I learned that I don't know his right name, like Bill Skarsgård or something, the guy who played the clown in the new version of It, and he played some bad guy in the fourth installment of John Wick. And he played that guy in Deadpool 2, the guy that spewed the acid, so it was his superpower, and he died very fast in this machinery that was used to process woods. Okay. And he played one of the main roles in this Barbarian movie. Well, I don't like the stuff with the horror movies when the movie is about all the jumps from the corner with all the sounds when nothing happens. For example, with It, the new remake, I watched the first maybe 15 minutes when this small boy went downstairs from his room, and then he walked by the cupboard or some storage room, and the music was the voices in this movie was very, very low, but when he went into this storage room and switched on the lights, the music suddenly became very, very loud. I knew, because I kind of tried to read It by Stephen King, that nothing will happen until this boy wears his yellow raincoat, and I think yellow raincoat, and goes to the street, and somewhere near the place where water goes into the sewers, he will meet this clown, in this sewers. So I wasn't somehow shocked or surprised by this music. I just didn't like it because it was very loud. But for those who didn't know the plot of the movie, who wanted to experience this this jump scares, it was, I think, quite alright. Anyway, I didn't like this stuff, and I stopped watching this movie somewhere in the beginning. And this jump scares is the first type of horror movies, and I don't like it. But the second type of horror movies, like Saw, maybe Hellraiser, and other stuff, Freddy Krueger, they all about slashers, about sewing, crushing someone's body, like body horrors. They are not scary because in the beginning, you know that in the beginning they set the tasks for the characters in the movie to cut something out of the bodies, or run away from some maniacs with chainsaws. So you know what to expect from the movie. You just watch the plot itself, the way they go through this cutting, sewing, and other stuff, and this is what I like. So I think I watched most of the these body horror movies, at least the canon first movies that created franchises. I tried some sequels, but most of them were disappointing. Okay, so that's why I try to watch the ending of the horror, and when the ending is quite well, I can watch the plot itself to find the way the main characters moved to this ending, and I try to find the movie that I can rewatch again and again, the way I can rewatch The Cabin in the Woods from any moment at any time. Yeah. So in the end, it's not the jump scare or some unexpected ending what that matters for me. It's the overall logic or something in the movie that makes this movie rewatchable. So I just walked through this Barbarian movie, and I knew from the trailer that something will happen, would happen with this house where this woman came, and Bill Skarsgård was the guy who rented this house together with her, and then they discovered something in the cellar of this house, some tunnels where some evil lived. Yeah, this stuff I learned from the trailer, so I kind of jumped quite quickly through the plot, and I discovered that surprisingly Bill Skarsgård was killed almost like after 30 minutes of the movie. So yeah, they shared the house for the night, and she was woken up by the door opened, but Bill slept in the couch on the couch in the living room, and he didn't know about this opened door. So when he went somewhere, by his own business. She discovered the door, and she walked along the corridor, and she discovered some room with I don't know, the cage, the bed, and some other stuff in the cellar, but she couldn't open the door because it could be opened only from the outside, from the side of the house. And when this Bill guy returned, he freed her, and he opened the door. She told him about all the stuff downstairs, and she went to explore the stuff, and then he disappeared. And then she went to rescue him. She went to this. She blocked the door so that the door stayed open, and she reached this bedroom with the cage, and then she walked downstairs along some dark corridor somewhere deep into the tunnels. And this was the cliche because at this point she should call the police, said that she discovered all this stuff within the house that the guy missed in these corridors, and not go herself without any guns and other stuff. But it is what it is, and she walked downstairs, and then she found Bill. He escaped from somewhere. He said that something had beaten him, and at this moment this kind of monster woman appeared. I think she was called Barbarian in this movie, and she just crashed Bill's head on the rock, over the rock. It was really surprising because I thought that he will live until the end of the movie, and then this Barbarian monster movie or mutant, she caught this girl. And then the guy from Hollywood appeared, who had problem with his money, and he was the owner of this house, and he returned back because he wanted to sell this house and to get the money. And he discovered this hidden passage behind the door as well. He started to measure it because he believed that he could get more money for this passage as well. And then he got caught by this monster mutant woman as well, and he found himself in some pit where this woman from the beginning, this girl from the beginning, was held for some time. And then was some strange stuff, like this monster movie, monster woman could only, or mutant woman could only say several words like baby, and she feeded with I don't know, the bottle, milk of bottle, and this thing for the kids to suck on it, to suck milk from the bottle. And this girl sucked from this bottle because she didn't want to upset this mutant woman, but this owner of the house didn't do this, and this mutant took him to her bedroom, and she tried to breastfeed him from her breast. And then the girl from the pit escaped, and she ran to the police, but police thought that she was just I don't know, this homeless. Okay, she was some homeless girl who kind of got into the house and stayed there. They did nothing with this house. They didn't believe her because she really smelled very bad from this pit, and her clothes were very dirty. Anyway, somehow she hit this monster, this mutant woman with the car. She returned back to the house to save this house owner, but he went somewhere to other rooms under the house, and he discovered the old man who lied there, and he said to this man that the police will be called soon. And then he discovered that this man had lots of videotapes in his room, and obviously he watched one of the videotapes, and then it just stopped some time ago. So this house owner, he started his videotape, and he watched. He saw that this was the video recordings of one of the women that was held kind of hostage in these underground tunnels. And this particular guy, this older guy, when he was young, he abducted her, he raped her, and he recorded this on the videotape, and then he rewatched it, and there were about 30 videotapes, and all of them were named like Without Teeth, or Head Red, or Hitchhiker, and other stuff, Crybaby. And at some moment we had a flashback of this old man, but he was about 40s, and he lived in this house, but this particular area was not abandoned. It was in its highest state, when lots of people lived in the same houses on the street, and lots of kids were. But his neighbor said that his wife wanted to ran to leave this particular neighborhood and move somewhere else, and this we can call him maniac. He said that he won't go anywhere. He just was going to stay this, and he did. And his house was alone in this neighborhood, alone where people lived. And in this flashback into 1980s, we were shown as he went to the supermarket and bought some supplies for the newborn babies, and then we learned that he brought them to this back door in his that led to the tunnels, and then some woman cried when he opened the door to the tunnels. But when he was in the supermarket, he saw another woman in the car, and he wore his gas company robe and came to her house because he followed her in his car. And then he kind of pretended to be the gas worker, or plumber. He checked her bathroom, but he unlocked her window, and obviously in the night he will return, and he would return and he would abduct her to his collection. Anyway, I read the plot of this Barbarian movie in Wikipedia to understand all the stuff, because even when I watched this flashback from the beginning to the end, I didn't understand it, and the Wikipedia explained that it was a flashback to somewhere 1980s and other stuff. And somehow they explained that he abducted all these women, he raped them, and then he raped the offsprings, obviously girls that were born from these women, and then he raped their daughters, the daughters of the daughters. It was kind of incest between him and his daughters and granddaughters. Very strange idea. But somehow I don't want to rewatch this movie from the beginning to the end to understand from what moment they understood this idea in Wikipedia. But anyway, so this go back to the house owner. When he discovered all these videotapes, he saw that this old maniac who lay in the bed, after this maniac heard that the police is on its way, he took out the revolver from some drawer and shoot himself. So this new house owner, he took the revolver and he shot this girl from the pit when she returned for him, because he thought that it was this mutant woman. Then they both got out of the house. They ran somewhere on this street, and they found this man. Well, I have forgotten his name. Without house. Okay, homeless man. Okay, homeless man. He told some story about this monster woman. Then she came. They thought that she died in this after being crashed by a car. But when they got out of the house, she was gone, and she followed them and she killed this homeless man. And then they ran to this water tower, because the girl was shot with a gun. She was the second, but when she got to the top of this water tower, the house owner just pushed her to the ground, so that the monster woman, the monster woman was paid her attention to this girl and was distracted from pursuing him. Yeah, but this mutant woman jumped off the water tower and saved this girl, because this girl landed on the top of this monster woman, and this house owner went back from the tower back to this to women, and the mutant stood up and killed this house owner. And then she wanted to take this girl back to this pit in her somewhere under the house, but the girl took this revolver and killed the mutant, though she didn't want to kill the mutant, because the mutant had saved her, but she didn't want to go back into the pit, so she just killed her. And then she just went somewhere on the street with the wound in her back. Maybe she will take her car and she will go to the hospital somewhere. Anyway, this is the movie itself, and it's not worth to rewatch it for me because, well, the critics said that if you watch this movie from the beginning to the end without knowing what is it about, what it is about, you will have some jump scares, yeah, and you will discover this something under the house, then this mutant woman, then this flashback with the maniac and other stuff, and everything was so unpredictable, and the ending was unexpected. Yeah, but I have some questions about the stuff. The first question is about this old guy who lived in this bedroom with his tapes under the house. Well, he was so old that he couldn't, I think he couldn't get out of the house. The question is how he survived in this environment. Maybe how he lived with this mutant woman, and more important, how he got the water and the food for him when he was so old that he could not leave the house. Really, I don't know, and I don't wanna rewatch the movie to find it out, because I think this is kind of the holes the holes in the plot, flaws in the plot. But the second thing that I don't like, and I think it's even more bigger plot, more bigger hole that destroys all the charm from the movie for me, is that they explained this mutant monster woman as the product of incest of this maniac with the first woman, and then subsequent daughters of one particular woman. Yeah, let's say maybe with different daughters of different daughters of different women, but in the end survived only this mutant. And it's kind of unrealistic for me that this mutant was created because she looked like maybe 25. I could say that she 30 and more, but let's say she's 25, and the movie was made in 2023, so she was born in 2000, and to be born in 2000, her mother should be at least 15 years old. 15, let's say 15. I don't think that 13 years old is a very possible age. So 15. So her mother, the mother of this mutant, was born in 1985, and let's say she was born when her own mother was 15, and we go back to 1970, and in this 1970 the first some original woman was abducted and raped, yeah, and then she gave birth to, so we have only two offsprings with whom this maniac had incest. Like, first was the woman, just ordinary woman of 1970. Then she gave birth to her daughter, and her daughter in 1985, due to incest, gave birth to the second. Yeah, I think it's the second generation of children created by incest. Yeah, from 85 to 2000, and in 2000 it was only the second generation. So this mutant woman was only the second generation of offsprings born due to incest. And we have the history facts that some aristocrats in Europe, they only married their relatives, and their children and maybe their grandchildren were born with defects, with body problems, physical problems, and of course mental problems, and then they died being the offsprings born by incest. Yeah, but to produce some mutant in the second generation of incest sounds very unlikely for me. Yeah, because all this Barbarian movie was set as some kind of science fiction, something that could happen with some conditions, but create this mutant from the second generation is not a real science fiction possibility. It's more like it's more like fantasy. She could be some monster, but without this super power, like being hit by the car, being too strong, jumping from the top of the water tower and survive. All this quite unhuman qualities, and to get this unhuman quality, the person in some movie should be affected by some nuclear emission, maybe some radioactive liquids that go from the tubes out of the factories into some ponds, and these persons drink this radioactive water, and from generation to generation they became these mutants. It's kind of possible, though it's still the fantasy, but it's more realistic than this fact that if you have lots of options, to different women, like he said, lots of women, and lots of children were born from this women. Anyway, I think even 30 women with their offsprings and the second generation and the third generation were not enough to get this monster. So their science fiction approach is not very valid for me, and it destroys the whole setting of the movie. If they considered this monster created by some like experiment or some failed experiment, it would be more realistic. Yeah, or some fantasy stuff like the Grudge, when in some particular Japan house the man killed his wife and drowned his son in the bathtub, and they all returned into this house as the ghosts, and then as the curses, and then they killed everyone who lived in this house later. That's quite possible, because everything that happens in some fantasy is quite possible if the rules are quite logical. But they tried to use some science fiction, science biological stuff that won't work really. I'm not sure that there are any facts, evidence that from some relationships between the relatives this type of monsters could be born. Yeah, it's really fantasy, and I don't like this type of mix in one movie, when first they try to scare you with the sounds, with the dark, with the dark in the tunnels under the house, and this sudden jumps out of the corner when this monster woman came into the scene. And then they put this body horror and gore when she tore apart this homeless man and killed him with his own hand, and then she I don't know the verb, but she pushed with her fingers into the eyes of this guy from the Hollywood, and his eyes just poured out of his eye sockets. It was kind of gore, yeah. So they mixed these two genres, and then they added this many psychological stuff about all these women, raping them, abducting them, having incest with them, though they didn't show the stuff, but they kind of suggested by all the stuff that they showed. And this mix is too unbalanced for me. Yeah, this science fiction like foundation that failed, this manic history that is not so cool as it could be, and all this stuff just doesn't go really well for me about this movie. So I'm glad that I didn't spend the whole an hour and a half on watching this movie to get first-hand experience, but I moved just into this question of how this old maniac lived under the house and without food, without water, and how this monster was created, because it's really unrealistic. And yeah, this mix of different genres didn't go well with me. I prefer some simple but like body horror than other stuff like maniacs, raping, or these jump scares, and of course the mix of everything into one bowl did not produce a good dish. This is my own opinion. So maybe this is the best horror movie of the last years, but well, it's not for me. It's not the best type of movie for me. So that was my own review of the Barbarian movie made for myself. Yeah. And with this I have 40 minutes of recording, and with this I start today's recording.